All right, so uh, it looks like someone's been bitten by the real estate bug.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, look at all this research you've pulled together. I got to say, flipping through it myself has got me a little excited about real estate. But let's bring in someone who actually knows what they're talking about, right?
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, let's welcome in our real estate expert. They're going to help us sift through all this information and uncover those golden nuggets of opportunity you might have missed.
Happy to be here.
So I was looking through your notes, and one thing that jumped out was how much research you've been doing on the current market,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is key, before jumping into any strategy, right?
Super important.
And this whole idea of a cooling market
Yeah.
that you highlighted from that podcast episode,
Right.
what does that actually mean for someone like you who's looking to get started in real estate?
So cooling doesn't necessarily mean bad news, especially for investors. It's more like transitioning from a scorching summer day to like a mild spring. So remember all those stories about bidding wars
Yeah.
and sky-high prices?
Oh, yeah.
This kind of market could mean a little bit more breathing room, a chance to maybe negotiate a little bit, better deals, potentially even find some hidden gems.
So it's less about like dodging real estate tumbleweeds in a ghost town
Exactly.
and more like strolling through a market where the vendors are actually open to haggling.
Yeah, exactly. However, like every market, they all have their own personalities, right?
Right.
That's why I think your focus on specific local area from listener sources is spot on.
Okay.
This article that you shared about the new tech hub opening up near local landmark,
Right.
that's interesting. This influx of young professionals moving into the area is definitely something to keep an eye on if you're considering rental properties.
Okay, so we're talking about a potential gold mine for rentals.
Could be.
So understanding those hyper-local trends, like this tech hub development, is just as important as like the broad market picture.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm dying to dig into the different ways you can actually generate income from real estate.
Sure.
And rentals seem like a classic starting point, and you've got a whole section here dedicated to it.
Yeah, and it's clear you're already thinking strategically about it too.
Well, I'm trying to.
In your notes, you specifically asked about long-term versus short-term rentals, even mentioning Airbnb.
Yes, because let's be honest, I've definitely spent too much time kind of daydreaming, fantasizing about buying that charming beach cottage and just like,
Living the dream.
yeah, and living off the Airbnb income. But is it really all sunshine and like passive income like those rental platforms make it seem?
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
It's peak season. Your beach cottage is booked solid. You're raking in those nightly rates.
Okay.
Sounds idyllic, right?
It does, yeah.
But now picture this. A last-minute cancellation, a plumbing emergency, and a string of guests who are a little too enthusiastic about leaving detailed reviews about, like, the thread count of your towels.
Okay, so the fantasy is starting to lose its charm a little. So more money, but potentially way more headaches.
Essentially, yes. Short-term rentals, especially through platforms like Airbnb, can be incredibly lucrative.
Right.
But they often demand more time and energy than I think people realize. You're essentially running a hospitality business, even if it's just one property.
That makes total sense. You've got to be ready to wear a lot of hats. Marketer, cleaner, customer service rep.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even a plumber.
Yeah.
If my DIY track record is anything to go by.
Lots of hats, yeah. And those unexpected issues, they can really make or break your profits.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I think a lot of investors, especially those looking for more passive income,
Right.
lean towards long-term rentals.
Okay, so less daily hustle and bustle, but maybe a bit less excitement, on the income front.
Yeah, not necessarily. You highlighted some, interesting points in your research about leveraging that rental income to cover mortgage payments, right?
Right, yeah.
Potentially even generating positive cash flow.
Okay,
That's a powerful strategy for building wealth over time.
right. It's like that saying, make your money work for you.
Exactly.
But speaking of different approaches, I notice you've also been digging into house flipping.
A little bit, yeah.
Those before and after photos in your notes, man, are they tempting.
I have to admit, there's something incredibly satisfying about taking, like a diamond in the rough and transforming it into something spectacular.
Yeah.
But it's crucial to approach house flipping with a healthy dose of reality.
Okay.
Remember that show you mentioned, the one where they make it seem as easy as like ordering takeout?
Oh, I'm already picking out demo day playlists in my head.
Let's just say those shows tend to gloss over the less glamorous aspects.
Well.
Flipping is a high-stakes game, requires a solid understanding of renovation costs, market trends,
Right.
and honestly, a stomach for the unexpected.
You're not kidding. I once tried to replace a leaky faucet.
Oh, no.
Let's just say I ended up calling a plumber and eating takeout for a week because my kitchen was out of commission.
Yeah, and that's a single faucet, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Imagine multiplying that by a whole house, electrical, plumbing, roofing.
Oh, yeah.
Those costs can add up faster than you can say shiplap.
Oh, man.
You know, your research actually highlighted a study about how renovation budgets are often underestimated,
Really?
leading to like thinner profit margins or even losses.
Okay, so maybe I'll stick to my demo day playlists and leave the actual renovations to the pros.
Right. That's a good idea.
But it sounds like timing the market is crucial too, right?
Yeah.
Buying low and selling high. I mean, it seems straightforward enough, but is it really that simple?
It's the dream, but predicting market fluctuations is tricky business.
Yeah.
It's less about following your gut.
Right.
And more about in-depth market analysis.
Okay.
Factors like interest rates, local economic conditions, even seasonality can impact property values.
Yeah, that's true.
Your notes actually had a fascinating article about the impact of specific local factor from listener sources on real estate prices in your target area.
Wow. I didn't realize specific local factor from listener sources could have such a significant impact.
Yeah,
It seems like there's a lot more to flipping houses than meets the eye.
for sure.
Maybe a less hands-on approach is a better fit for those of us who aren't ready to become, full-time renovators.
Sure.
Something a little less about sledgehammers and a little more about,
Diversifying your portfolio.
Exactly. And it looks like you had the same thought because you've got a whole section here on REITs.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
What exactly are they and how do they fit into this whole real estate investing puzzle?
So REITs, or real estate investment trusts, are kind of like the low-maintenance option for real estate investors.
They allow you to kind of tap into the potential of the real estate market without actually having to buy, manage, or renovate properties yourself.
Okay, so less location, and more. Set it and forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me more.
All right. Imagine a company that owns and manages a portfolio of properties.
Okay.
Apartment buildings, shopping malls, office spaces, you name it.
Okay.
When you invest in a REIT, you're essentially buying a piece of that company and, by extension, a piece of their real estate holdings.
So instead of being a landlord, I'm more like a silent partner.
In a sense, yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest draws of REITs is the potential for passive income through dividends.
Okay.
These companies often distribute a portion of their rental income to shareholders.
Gotcha.
You mentioned in your notes that you were particularly interested in generating those passive income streams.
Yes.
So REITs could be a great avenue to explore.
That definitely aligns with my goals. But with so many different REITs out there, how do you know which one to choose? It feels a bit overwhelming.
It's true, you're right. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Right.
That's where research and understanding your own investment goals come in.
Okay.
You mentioned being drawn to the stability of residential properties.
Yeah.
Well, there are REITs that specifically focus on apartment buildings, which could be a good fit.
Oh, that's interesting. So I can tailor my REIT investments to match my specific interests and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. For example, the article you shared about specific REITs caught my eye. They specialize in property type and have a strong track record of dividend payouts.
This is fascinating. I'm already starting to see how REITs could be a valuable addition to like a diversified investment portfolio.
Absolutely.
But before we get too far down that road, there's one more thing I'm dying to unpack. Creative financing.
Okay.
It sounds a bit like something out of a spy movie, to be honest. Kind of does, doesn't it?
It is less about, like secret agents and more about just thinking outside that traditional mortgage box.
Right.
Remember you were curious about like buying properties directly from the owner.
Yeah.
That's where seller financing comes in.
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing that in my notes. So instead
Yeah.
of getting a loan from a bank, you basically work out like a payment plan directly with the seller, right?
Exactly. It's like striking a deal directly with the person who's selling their like prized vintage car
Okay.
instead of going through a dealership.
Right.
They get to set the terms, and you might be able to negotiate something that works better for, your financial situation, especially if additional financing is a roadblock.
So it opens up possibilities that, that might not exist in the conventional world of bank loans.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What about those lease options I jotted down?
Sure.
They sounded intriguing, but a little confusing.
Yeah, so lease options are like a try before you buy program
Okay.
for real estate. Let's say you find a property that you love, but you're not quite ready to buy it outright.
Yeah.
With a lease option, you lease the property, right? With the agreement that you have the option to purchase it at a predetermined price within a specific time frame.
That's actually brilliant. You get to like experience the property, maybe even make some improvements
Right.
before like fully committing to buying it, like a long-term test drive.
Jeff.
But this all sounds pretty complex. I mean, are creative financing strategies really for like everyday investors like me, or is it more for, seasoned real estate moguls?
They're not out of reach, but you've hit on a really crucial point. Knowledge is key.
Okay.
Before diving into seller financing, lease options, or frankly, any creative financing strategy, it's essential to do your homework
Right.
and ideally work with professionals who understand the ins and outs.
So maybe not something to try on my own after watching a couple of YouTube videos?
Probably not, no, but it's fantastic that you're asking these questions
Okay.
and thinking outside the box. That's how you uncover those hidden opportunities and strategies that truly align with your goals.
That seems to be the overarching theme here, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Whether we're talking about rentals, flipping, REITs, or even these, creative financing tactics, it's all about finding the right fit
Absolutely.
for your individual circumstances.
Yeah.
You know your risk appetite and goals.
Yeah, there's no one-size-fits-all path to real estate success.
Right.
Your research highlighted this beautifully by exploring such a diverse range of strategies,
Yeah.
each with their own set of potential rewards
Right.
and, of course, risks.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that real estate investing isn't just about the property itself.
Right.
It's about understanding market trends, doing your due diligence, and honestly assessing your own capabilities and limitations. And sometimes the smartest investment is in knowledge and expert advice.
Absolutely. You mentioned feeling overwhelmed at the beginning of our deep dive, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
But look at you now, confidently navigating the intricacies of real estate investing.
Well, I'm trying.
Remember that feeling, the excitement of discovery, the power of knowledge. That's what will fuel your journey as a real estate investor.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today,
We really have, yeah.
from the ins and outs of rental properties to the world of REITs,
Right.
and even those like seemingly mysterious creative financing strategies.
Yeah.
But remember, this is just the beginning of your real estate adventure.
He really is.
The most important step is to take that first step.
Absolutely.
Whether it's attending, I don't know, like a local real estate seminar, connecting with an experienced investor, or even just diving deeper into a specific topic that sparked your interest.
And don't forget, we're here to support you along the way. Keep those questions coming.
Exactly. Head over to our website and tell us what resonated most with you today. What's your biggest takeaway from our real estate deep dive? We can't wait to hear from you.